Hi, everyone. My name is Steve Mast, and I'm the President and Chief Innovation Officer here at Delvinia, which is a global research tech company. Last week, along with my good friends at PersonaPanels, started a new mini-series on monitoring the interest of virtual millennials during the COVID-19 outbreak. And I'm here again with Steve and Mike to provide 3 new key insights from the past week. Today, we're going to cover the following. First, how our virtual millennials or animated personas continue to act the same as human millennials do. Second, financial concerns among millennials seems to be more evident this past week. And third, there is a reduced interest in general information about COVID-19, as millennials seem to be more focused on topics that directly impact their lives. So let me turn it over to Steve and Mike, and they'll dig a little deeper into those insights. Over to you, Mike.
Thanks, Steve. Let's begin with an understanding of what animated personas are all about. They are built with machine learning in mind, and they can represent segments of consumers or any targeted group that is of interest to a company. Many times, we will take a company's segmentation data and then create animated personas. But if that isn't available, we can use other primary survey data, and we can even use secondary data. The bottom line is that there are many ways to build animated personas. The key is that while traditional segments are built from data that ages over time, animated personas always represent data that is current. And in terms of what animated personas can do, they can look at a company's messages, concepts, and ideas and indicate interest, as well as the importance of the specific information they are reviewing. And with that, I'll turn it over to Steve Marks.
What we'd like to do here is show specifically key findings that we are discussing this week. As Steve Mast mentioned earlier, animated personas do actually evolve as human millennials do, as we see from this information. When we started our study back on February 13th, there was relatively low interest in articles about coronavirus amongst our millennials in general, who did not see the importance of what was happening. Over the course of time and up through April 2nd, we do see greater interest in general amongst the animated personas of all areas that relate to COVID-19, which is mirroring what we're seeing amongst the millennial population in the US. Specifically looking at some topical areas, the area about finance, I think, finally to impact them as well as everybody else. The unparalleled rise in unemployment levels, concerns about a recession, and the directive to balance health and safety needs with the economy have all looked at caused the uptick in terms of overall interest in areas with regard to finance for millennials in the animated persona world. This is also due to them having been impacted by unemployment possibly themselves. Finally, the last finding is one that's kind of interest. We have seen constant increase in general information articles, specifically looking at the number of people infected globally in the US, number of deaths, tests available, etc. As the virus has spread and it's become more personal, people have started to take a little more interest in specific topic information rather than just amongst all of our millennial animated personas this past week. I would anticipate that to continue during the course of the upcoming weeks. As Steve mentioned earlier, we do have some interesting ways to look at information, and for an update for what to be expected next week, I'm going to turn it back over to Mike. Mike?
Thanks, Steve. Next week, we'll be taking a look at the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, one of the leading agencies in the US with regard to disseminating information about anything medical, and specifically as it relates to coronavirus. And we've got some very interesting findings with regard to how millennials, animated personas in particular, are looking at the information that's contained on the website itself from CDC and how they're looking at it in terms of both interest and importance. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Steve Mast.
Really excited about next week, especially with the CDC findings. So again, feel free to sign up and grab a copy of the report. We had lots and lots of people that did sign up last week for it, and we will send that directly to your inbox each and every week. But also come back here to hear quickly sort of the 3 key insights that Mike and Steve will unpack for you as well. So until next week, stay safe and stay well.